day real quick,
Recording in progress.
and Liberty was messing with me, and I had grabbed her by her neck and I picked her up, right? So then yesterday we was at Kroger's, and I said, "Ooh, you lucky we at Kroger's." We was at Walmart. I'll pick you up and grab you by your neck. I can't do it at this white store. They don't like that type of stuff.
What she say?
She just kept messing with me, man. But it was cool though. It was all funny games. We was actually playing around. Of course, Chelsea hates when we playing around in the store, which makes it even funner to me because I
Listen,
like to irritate her.
hey, and so Liberty's doing to you what you like to do to Chelsea, and the green grass grows all around. Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
everybody have their
guess.
purposes. It's all good. So welcome back, gentlemen. Oh my goodness, episode 2 of the podcast, the Golly Man's perspective on marriage. I still do part 1.5. It's called 1.5 because there are some parts from last week that I kind of want to circle back to, right? So
Mhm.
after listening to last week's replay, before we got any further, I wanted to clear a couple of things up, right? So Terry, you said in order to fully love your spouse, you need to be in love with yourself first. And the
Yep.
only way to do this is to know yourself and become a whole person. Can you speak to like the journey that you went through to like find out and discover who you were?
Ah man, that journey was it was it was hectic. I'll say, but it was a journey that I welcomed. Once I got to that level to welcome that past, welcome my flaws, welcome and when I say welcome, I mean accept what I've done, accept who I was, in order for me to become who I am now, and in order for me to further progress to be who I want to be. A lot of street life, a lot of infidelity, here and there, a little alcohol and trees and stuff like that. Just being trying to find ways to deal with anger that I had inside of me for and come to find out is actually dealing with my child didn't but it stemmed from my childhood, the anger of not knowing who I was because I didn't grow with my father. I didn't grow with my biological. I did have male role models, but some of those role models, what we will call role models for today's society. It was more of the role models who taught you how to survive and get what you needed to get to make it to the next day or the next month or the next week. That type of role model was what I had, and that they was great at, because I did learn a lot of them as far as life. But getting to past that destination, that wall was a blockage, and for me, in order for me to get past that, I had to accept a lot of things. 27 years went by, I have never seen my father. I refused to talk to him, everything. But I had a son, and my son was emulating the anger that I had towards him. It was coming towards me. So I had to change that for one. So I reached out to my father. And once I reached out to him, and I tell you, God moved me in a way that I didn't even imagine being moved. Like it automatically had me work on self. I went to counseling. I did communication classes. I did relationship classes. I did classes on how to build yourself from the Bible. Of course, I'm Muslim, but I still, do research and dealing with the Bible on how to continue to build yourself and stay in line with God. I also, did a lot of classes dealing with everything searching and not really searching, but more planting those seeds that I was always telling myself when I was younger or who I was going to be. So now we fast forward, I'm recently married January 1st. I have a little girl. I was born on the 4th. I have kids. One of them is a stepchild, but yet she's still mine. And now those seeds that I planted on who I was going to be and who I supposed to be is starting to blossom. but it took a lot of tilling the land over and over again and pulling out a whole bunch of weeds in order for me to start blooming and blossoming into this wonderful person. The masterpiece is not finished yet. I still have a lot of work to do, but because of those errors of my ways and the things that I was doing back then, it made me a better husband today. It made me a better father today, a better brother, a better cousin, a better friend, a better entrepreneur, a better mentor, everything. You know what I mean? And tomorrow, I plan on being better than what I was today. So that's just the mindset that I have. Like each day, I want to be better. And because I want to be better, there's nothing that can stop me. I control my energy. I control my environment. I control everything. Because if I don't like it, I move. If I like it, I build. Just that plain and simple.
Wow, that's a lot of power. So thank you so much, because you got really vulnerable and you actually answered some of the questions that I had later. So you saved the listeners some time. They got to hear me just listen to you. I love it. I love it. So full disclosure, y'all stories is dope. I might just jack it and just write a book. Right. So don't shake your head. It's okay. You love me. I can write a book. It's okay.
Oh yeah, you can write a book. I know you're gonna have some comedy in there. I know it's gonna be some tear jerkers. It's gonna be some, this dude is stupid, that girl is crazy. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of that, you know. But the thing is your creativity, your hunger, your passion, and your leadership that you're getting from God and how you move, because the way He's moving you is what I say is remarkable. Being your older brother, to sit here and do a podcast with you is it's a tearjerker. You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing. It's emotional. It's one of those things where I'm like, yo, I wanted to have a family business, but I'm not in a position to run the family business. I got two people in the family that is a yin and yang in my teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jori is a 100% go-getter. LaDonald is a thinker, a processor. You know what I mean? I'm just the guy who's like, hey, look, let's get together. Let's figure something out. You know what I mean? And it's much upside to everything that we focusing on doing right now. And I just can't wait to see what the next 4 months is going to look like for us.
Well, don't sell yourself short. You're very welcome, brother. Because I was contemplating and just looking at now. So I mean, this is the second episode, and you already crying. You know what I'm saying? Like doing big ups. We supposed to save this to like the anniversary special next year, but I like it. You fast forward. I like it. You are, and you've always been a connector. Like, you, from when we were younger, like I used to like sit in amazement, and like any environment that you went in, you just made connections. Like, people gravitated toward you and your energy and your spirit. And I know that's planted by God. So, you know, the same way that you say you look at me and you're like, wow, like I look at you and I'm like, yo, like I'm in awe of just your movements, right? And then your reflection, right? What you just shared was super vulnerable. And to be honest, like today's episode, y'all don't know the title because I didn't tell y'all. Like, I don't, and so what people need to know is that this is not scripted. Like, they have no idea what I'm about to ask them. They don't get the questions in advance. This is just me trying to pick a married man's brain to I'm really trying to figure out how to love my husband better. But in the process, hopefully other men and women listen to this podcast and they're like, oh wow, like I resonate with that, or that sounds like something I can relate to in terms of how to relate better to my husband, right? So the goal and the hope is that people listen to it and they get something out of it. I hope this is a resource, because it's powerful, right? And so going back to the book, I was thinking about writing one and calling it like I Still Do, because I like that term, but there's already a book called I Still Do, right? So I was like, all right, I gotta name it something else. It's cool. But there's a pastor, his name's Dave Harvey, right? So if you digging what we saying, you like the questions I'm asking, they resonate with you, like go ahead and cop that dude's book, or wait for ours when it comes out. His name's Dave Harvey. The full title is I Still Do: Growing Closer and Stronger Through Life's Defining Moments. So I was like, let me not let me not try to reinvent the wheel. So I copped the book, and so far so good. So I bought the audio version because I'm reading a lot of other stuff. It's a lot quicker. It's a lot quicker. So the point that he makes is, in particular, his inability to not express emotions or be able to identify them, right? And that sounds like a lot of what you just mentioned, Terry, right? Like not knowing how you felt to be able to express it, and then so all that stuff just turns into anger. And so all emotions are now expressed through anger. And Donald, like last time we spoke, you mentioned that sometimes the way that you respond when your spouse shares emotions will determine if they take that chance again in the future to share, right, in that way. So how much of a factor, I'm gonna say this for Donald, because we just learned a lot about you, Terry. Get super appreciative of you sharing, brother. Donald, how much of your upbringing comes into play when discussing how you express or your ability to express emotion?
You want to talk about my upbringing or what I feel the importance of anybody's upbringing is?
I'm just in general, how much of a factor do you think that your upbringing plays in your ability to communicate your emotions, or at least identify them, express them, anything?
Mm-hmm. I want to say initially 100%. A lot of times the first idea or the first um, way we understand how to communicate with women is looking at it from our fathers to our mothers, right? And thankfully, I was in a situation where I was able to see my father continually communicate with my mother, continually talk to her receive him, she receive him, her receive him receiving her, and seeing the do's and the don'ts. You know, I've learned how to navigate dinner time conversations, looking at my parents, right? And I can only imagine or fathom, you know, a person who grew up with a single mother not having that same connection, trying to figure it out. You know, and granted, my father wasn't the smoothest cat in the world, and you know, he's not the biggest talker in the world. But you know, whenever he does say something, it's worth listening to. And to be honest, I feel like that's kind of how I've been running my household as well. You know, like in the house, my wife does the majority of the speaking. Most of the time when I speak in the house, it's mostly to correct the kids, to encourage my wife, or to really encourage the kids when they have something that's really bothering them, and they just need that reassurance. But also, I have to take into account what my wife needs and communication. I mean, is getting phased out by what my wife needs and what my children need. So, yeah, when my kids are young, I can kind of just be that correcting voice. But for my oldest, I'm seeing more and more she needs somebody to talk to, somebody to navigate how to deal with friends, how to deal with boys, how to deal with other girls who might be bullies, how to deal with you know, money habits, how to deal with anger issues, how to deal with emotions, how to deal with something that she just read in the book. You know, and those were things that I did not get from my father, not because I don't think he couldn't do it, but it just that wasn't our household. So you know, if a man really if a man just wants to be stubborn and stuck in his ways, then you know if and he reflects on how he saw communication working from a man's perspective as a young kid, that's how he's going to communicate, that's how he's going to be. But once you get into that position of becoming a father and a husband, and you want to do what's best for them, you have to open up your eyes to seeing what they need from you and make those adjustments. No matter how uncomfortable it might be, it's to benefit them, not you.
So that actually is a perfect segue into the actual topic, which is vulnerability, right? Has there ever been an opportunity or a time? I'm not gonna say opportunity because I'm sure there's tons of opportunities. Has there ever been a time where you've kind of faked the funk on knowing something with your spouse? Like maybe they ask you a question about um how to change something in a car, or they've asked you a question in terms of knowledge that you possessed about something previous, right? Has there ever been a time where you just like fake the funk, like you just like, of course I know that, of course,
Yeah, I got a
yeah.
perfect example. I got a perfect example. So, out in front of our house right now, we have a light post that I installed. Dug a nice 2-foot hole, poured the concrete. Had the screw sticking out of the concrete and everything. 2 feet?
You saying it was 2 foot?
Yeah, two. Well, I had to dig down 2 feet to
That's
pour through
not
there.
that's not long enough for a pole.
Hmm?
That's not long enough.
Well, it was so I had to move other stuff to get to the ground to dig down 2 feet, and then put all that other stuff back. So, and then the post itself is about a good 4 foot round area, so it's heavy enough. It's a big enough post. Leave me alone. So, it was done right before Christmas hit, so right around Thanksgiving time. But I'm telling you this because 6 years ago, she asked me if I knew how to put a post into the ground so we could add it to the front yard. I told her, yeah. It took me 6 years to figure out how to get it done.
Listen, cuz, hey, next time, just text me, bro. I put posts in the ground all the time. Built
Yeah,
a fence around my house. Got some pull-up
definitely
bars
be
in the
faked out
back.
for me.
Yeah, I could have
but-
saved you 6 years.
But yeah, I mean, there are certain things that sometimes you just say yes to certain things, or all right, you understand, you get it, you can just to kind of push the conversation and kind of get things rolling. And sometimes as men, we don't like to let our spouses know that we don't know something or know how to do something that we think we should. And thankfully, for a generation of people who've grown up without, both parents in a household, YouTube has served as that surrogate parent for some things, or where people can kind of search and figure things out. But almost fessing up to what you don't know, or saying that you know something you don't, is another lie, and it's going to come out eventually. And so, you just got to be able to be okay with expressing that. And then another person, your spouse, if they express that they don't know how to do something, don't belittle them about it, because we go back into that situation of, I was being vulnerable, I told you I didn't know this, and you clowned me. So, we gonna figure out what I don't know by messing everything up. So yeah, I think that's what it.
Terry, I know there's no opportunity that you've ever told Chelsea you didn't know something that, you knew something that you didn't, right? You never done that before, right?
Nah, not me. Oh no. Mm-mm. Never that. Absolutely I have. but but with me, I quickly went to YouTube to figure it out, or something of that nature. I have a thing with reading out loud. So we in this so we took a leadership role in our business, and on our team, to where we start teaching them the manual of insurance. Normally it's done by our marketing director, our broker. She's normally doing it, but we asked if we can give it a break from her and let us build that muscle with the team, so she can come back and everybody be in line on what needs to be done. Because if you know the basics, then the stuff that she can teach us to make more money, it wouldn't confuse us. You know what I'm saying? So we've been taking on that role. So the last couple of weeks, I've been the one doing all the teaching while she's sitting next to me. And it's some words that, I say one way, but it's pronounced another way. So, so I could be in the middle of of reading, and I'd be like, pause. How you pronounce that? And then I go back because she will let me say it wrong, right? And then when I look over at the corner of my eyes, I see a smirk on her face because I try to hurry up and fix it when I say it, and it still doesn't work. It feel like it comes out work. Like I almost gotta be reputable to get it out properly. You know what I'm saying? But that's so. Do you know how to read? Hell yeah, man, I can read everything. You give me a big word, I can chop it up. But no, I can read, I can understand, but certain words it just doesn't come out. I mean, people say, "Oh, you have an accent. Where are you from?" Fool, I'm from Chicago. There's no accent in Chicago. You guys got the accent. You know what I'm saying? But it is because they be like, it's car. Y'all say car, ha. Like, no, get in the car and let's go. You know what I'm saying? But so that's just one of the things that I'll say is like, is when it comes to reading certain things, I will like take control of it as if I know what I'm doing, and she know that this dude cannot read that well, but he always, in her head, she was like, hey, babe, do it, but I swear, like, so a lot of times when we get to talking or reading certain things, like, I just won't do it, because we read books together, our first book that we actually read cover to cover together was a book called The Four Agreements. And it's a wonderful book. It really changed my mindset on how to look at life. One of the agreements is be impeccable with your words, and the other one is don't take things personal. So because I don't take things personal no more, it comes off a lot of nonchalant, like whatever, you know what I'm saying? But to me, it really is a whatever, because I don't take it personal no more. So it helps me, but at the same time, it's like, dude, why do you keep trying to read knowing that she's going to say something to you, but it goes to the vulnerability. I'm willing to be vulnerable every time I read, because I know by me being vulnerable, it's making me uncomfortable. And if I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to grow. As long as I remain uncomfortable, I'm going to get better. So I take on those challenges, and I don't even see challenges as being challenges no more. I see them as opportunities. So yeah, to answer your question, I do tell her I know some stuff when I don't, but reading is definitely one of them.
Yeah, cause you better than me.
I'm gonna need you to say that again for the people in the back who didn't hear you, brother. Go and say that last line again about that uncomfortability.
Yeah. So in order for me to grow, I have to be uncomfortable. So I will stay uncomfortable so I can continue to grow. So that's how I'm doing it. So I gotta keep.
Man, you better than me. I can tell you right now. One time we tried to do the whole "let's read the Bible as a couple" type of thing. I was reading the Bible to her. Some names I couldn't say. She clowned me. I ain't read the Bible to her since. Let's read the Bible. Now I'm finna put my phone out. The phone finna read the voice.
Yeah, my husband and my son just got home. They totally blocked my path. I'm gonna have to put a lock on this door. So in terms of once that clowning right on you happens, like what as a wife can be done to like fix that, to remedy that? Like what can be done? Is there anything that can be done?
Very, very simple. Simply apologize. That's it. Just apologize, and just don't do it again. But sometimes, the apologies just don't come. It's like, I was just messing with you. I was just playing with you, blah, blah, blah. But no, it's literally, I'm sorry. I apologize. I know you were being vulnerable with me. I took advantage of that, and I won't do it again. No, that's an apology. Not, I was just playing with you. Stop being so sensitive. It's like, no, you just keep digging a deeper hole. That's not a true apology.
Yeah, I just know sometimes you're just not gonna get that. you know. We have to, it really has nothing to do with what they can do or to make it better for us. Sometimes it's I have to look at a lot of things differently because how I look at things in my past. It's really how we react to what they do. It goes back to what you said, the reaction. So if I know she's gonna crack jokes later on about the words that I say improperly or whatever the word is, you know what I mean, how I butcher it, and I know she's gonna say something about it, it's how I react to that of what she does. You know what I'm saying? And because she is definitely the type of person to make me uncomfortable, then I'm reacting in a way to always get better. Because her job is to help me grow. And my job is to help her grow. And we build and we grow together. What happens is a lot of times one of us might surpass the other. One of us might be reading more. One of us might be getting our hands more involved in entrepreneurship. One of us might be taking a bigger role as being the parent, the caregiver, the protector, the provider, everything. So when one of us take that, our identity grows, and sometimes their identity stays the same. So what we have to do is realize when our identity surpasses them, and you can notice from their behaviors that they still doing the same thing that they was doing 3 years ago when you already 5 years into the marriage or into the relationship, then you have to see, give her pacifier. Then you have to see that you have to not bring it down, but start elevating her or elevating him in that process. So, and that comes from being uncomfortable. I know for a fact she makes me uncomfortable, and because she makes me uncomfortable, it's because I know I'm gonna be growing, and I'm so uncomfortable because I want to love her so hard that there's no other love that she ever experienced like the love that I want to give her. So I remain uncomfortable in everything that we do in our relationship. But communication is the one thing that I'm constant involved with, saying the disclaimers and everything else. But yeah, it's really to me, it's based on how we respond to they heckling. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a comedian. So you cracking jokes and somebody in the audience trying to steal your show and throwing, look, curveballs at you. It's how you respond to that keeps the crowd going. Like, yo, she's legit. She's the truth. Like, he tried that. Oh, I can't believe he said that. And she came back with this. That's what the marriage, that to me, that part of the uncomfortability, that's what that's like. Tease me if you want, because when you see that word supercalifragilisticexpialidocious and I read it like it's ABCs and it's just, oh my God, did he really just flow on that word? Then yeah, I did that. You know what I'm saying? I did that. Thank you for making me so uncomfortable to where I had to read even more. And I appreciate that.
So there's two phrases that you just said that I'm gonna have to coin and like put it on a t-shirt. My man said, "I'ma love you so hard, girl. You ain't never experienced no love like this before." I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm scared or that's some hard love. And the second one you said was you're going to be okay with the discomfort because the discomfort causes growth. Like, I I don't know, Donald. Listen, I apologize like that when I clown Ron. I am a comedian and I have had hecklers, and I guarantee you they ain't gonna try it again. Um, Words hurt, right? That's what you said last show. You was like, words hurt. They do, and they're very powerful. And so I know that because of the mistakes that I've made in my marriage, I am more careful about what I say. I am more careful about how I say it. I'm more careful about the tonation and my intention because I know the impact that it has, right? And so we're going to end this podcast here. This has been a dope conversation. I need y'all to give me, like we did last time, for the people, right? Give me one practical, either one encouragement, a mantra, something that will increase vulnerability in a relationship, right? And again, well, I love that this is the male perspective, because I sit with my women friends and we talk about this actually in great depth, because for a lot of us, we've seen women express and tap into emotions, sometimes a little bit too much, but we've seen it, right? But in terms of a man, we've not seen it, right? So this is like this might be like the spotting of Bigfoot for a lot of people, right? Two men expressing vulnerability and giving examples on how they have vulnerability and how they work through that, right? So can you give the people, either one of you can start, just a practical, something that they can do themselves to help them either grow in their vulnerability, tap into their vulnerability, or maybe even recognize when they're not being vulnerable, right? Because that happens too.
I think for me, again, it goes back to just the communication piece, and being comfortable with having conversations with your significant other. Set the mood. So if you want your relationship to be in a place where you feel that being vulnerable is accepted and being vulnerable is welcomed, you got to communicate that. Like, think back to when you guys were single, not married, right? And you always talk about your individual goals, like, oh, she's so ambitious, she want to do this, she want to do that. Oh, this is nice, that's real good. But now that you're in a marriage, you got to talk about what is the team goal. And if you feel like as a married couple, you guys need to be more vulnerable, that needs to be a team goal that you guys need to sit down and talk about. Not like a business plan, but like seriously, like, again, there was those couch conversations, getting vulnerable. If you can't do it on the couch, get in the shower. You got to have those vulnerable conversations in those vulnerable spaces, but you have to make goals together for the family. It's no longer just individual goals. It's the community goals. What are you setting for the family? The spouse, the children, hell, even the dog. You know what I mean? Like, what are your goals?
Dogs need goals too. I love it.
So, dealing with vulnerability, that's almost new for me. You know what I mean? I'll say within the past maybe 6-7 years is I started to tap into that vulnerability realm of expressing my feelings, and the reason is because I caught myself as I flash back to realize that my upbringing was more of men don't cry, men don't show emotions, man up, make it happen, shut up, stop crying, get the tears out your eyes. That was more of what I was being exposed to. And when I seen my son go through certain things and he didn't cry, because once again, I literally duplicated what was told to me to him to a certain age. Yo, what you crying for? Get up. You'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? Is you dead? No, you ain't dead. So get up. So once I realized that my son wasn't expressing his emotions and it was starting to bottle up, and I seen what it was doing to him, it made me realize that I have to show my son how to be vulnerable. And I also have girls, so I have to show my girls that it's okay for a man to be vulnerable. And if he do be vulnerable with you, don't look at it as a sign of weakness, because we was told as we grow up that being vulnerable or showing emotion is a sign of weakness for a man. So what I would suggest to a lot of men who has issues with being vulnerable, or a lot of men who don't have issues to being vulnerable, look at it as this: how can you lead if you can't express how you feel? And a lot of people don't look at that as being a leader. As being a leader, you have to be able to express your feelings to people to get them to move to accomplish the mission. And when you're in a family unit, a family environment, each and all y'all should have a common goal. You have different goals, but the common goal, and if everybody can focus on that common goal and being the man, we're the leader. No matter what anybody say, we can go in and have all these conversations with our wives, and we can do everything together, but the man is still the forefront of the family. And we will always be looked at as a leader. And that's a lot of pressure on us. Even though we say we welcome it, it's a lot of pressure. So I tell all men that's vulnerable and that's not, is be the leader yourself into your leadership, not what other leaders have done. So I want to break the generational curse. That's what I want to do as far as the men. So if I ever have another child and it's a boy, he's going to be the most biggest, not crybaby, but crier, because he's in tune with who he is as a man, so he can always express himself, because he cry doesn't make him any weaker. And Lil Donald, you can speak on this because you grew up with me. I would not let you cry.
Why you gotta pull me out like that, man?
I'm just saying, because look at you now, though. Look at you now. Look at your.
But the difference, I think the difference is, though, the biggest difference is, while I had you and my other uncles in one ear saying, don't cry, mm-hmm. I had my father saying, it's okay to cry, just do it in the closet. Damn. Just do it in the bathroom. Do it in your room. It's okay to have emotions. Just don't let nobody else see you. So instead of being told, don't cry at all, I was told, it's okay to show emotions. You just gotta do it in a space that's vulnerable and a space that's safe.
See, I didn't have that.
So that's what I've been teetering back and forth. Yeah, with my son, that is like, it's one thing if you're hurt and if you're upset, we can talk about that. But if you running around and you bust your toe and you want to scream out of nowhere, like, you just died, we gonna cut that out. Like, no, that's not the same as express yourself. You can say you hurt yourself, but you ain't got to cry for 4 hours because you stubbed your toe and it no longer hurts, as opposed to, you know what I'm saying? Somebody said that they didn't want to be your friend and now you're upset. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
That's exactly, I feel you on that one, because I didn't have that. It's okay to do this. It's okay to do that. I wish I did. Then I probably wouldn't have been going through a lot. But at the same time, like I said, I accepted my past. I accepted who I was. I accepted the things that I've done. And because I was able to accept those, I am who I am now. And I know where I'm going to be. So because I know where I am and I know where I came from, it's one thing that I always hear people say, don't let your past define who you are. You could never say, I want you guys to be like, I know Terry, but then you can hear somebody say, I know Terry, but then you can be like, you don't know Terry. That dude 7, 8, 9 years ago, that's who you know. That's not who he is. That's what my goal is in life. On top of that is you can never say you know me. Even from this conversation today, you won't know me tomorrow. So, but yeah, like I said, Jori, I thank you for this opportunity. Donald, I thank you for sharing the platform with me. I couldn't ask for a better play than my cousin, who I see grow into this amazing man, a loving father and a loving husband, and a wonderful mentor to many others outside of his home. And sister, I love you dearly. You keep doing what you're doing and bringing out the best of everybody you come in contact with. We love y'all.
And with that, folks, we're going to wrap it up. As Terrance did say, you will not know who he is tomorrow, but if you go over to the YouTube channel of RYH Network, you can see who he is on the screen. Yes, this podcast is going to be posted in all the places where podcasts are post. I'm not really sure what they are yet. This is only our second episode, but I'm going to figure it out. And you're going to be able to have access. And we're actually going to start a little forum. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. And I think that other people they need this, right? This is therapy for me, just learning more about the male perspective, not just on marriage, but this is life, right? And so I think I think yeah. So join us over at the Facebook group AZ Iron Sharpens Iron. Pop some questions in the box, and I'll ask them to these two gentlemen to find out more information concerning their lives. Where can the people like find y'all? Where can they follow y'all? People like following people nowadays. I think it's weird, but people follow people all the time on the social. Where can people find you all at? I'm gonna put it in the description of this podcast as well.
You can find me at your local neighborhood drugstores. Nah,
That is gonna get edited.
You can follow me on Instagram at TW78. I'm also on Facebook as my name, Terrance Wilson. Eventually, you'll be seeing a couple of things popping up for GEMS, which stands for Growth, Evolving Mindsets. And you also will be seeing things pop up as Dreams to Reality. So keep a lookout on that, and you can follow me on those as well.
All right, yeah, and you can follow me also on Facebook. My name Donald Owens Jr. and also on Instagram at tag name is Journey Walker. You'll find the spelling down below, so you can find it. Very funny page. But you also get some more information later about my business, Galatians LLC, and see my life in the day of a beginning real estate investor. So hopefully it'll be entertaining.
Listen, if this is half as entertaining as all these heartfelt questions and sharings of your personal stories and your butt nakedness on couches, listen, I'm sure you're gonna have many followers, many followers.
Hey, before we end, I want to say something that was just texted me by the other half. She texted me. She said the most common way people give up their power is by simply believing they have none. So that's that. I don't know why I get that, but I just got it, and I want to share.
100%.
I want to share it.
That's 100%. That's exactly what I tell my students all the time. All the time. They come up with all these excuses of why they can't do something. I'm like, well, you half the battle was gone because in your mind you already believe that you can't do it. That's exactly right.
And I think that's a powerful turning key in any relationship, especially in a marriage relationship. So, Sister Chelsea, I appreciate you sharing that. I appreciate your time, gentlemen. This has been Jori O'Neale signing off on the Godly Man's Perspective on Marriage. I still do. Peace out. Love you all and be well.